Talk about the start you've had. Satisfied where you are at with your beginning of the season?
Yeah, it's a great start to get a win away and then come home to a Hurricanes team that did a job on us the year before, and so there was a little bit extra in the week. You know, it's always, you find motivation as much as you possibly can, and so we reflected on a couple of the efforts of the boys from the year before, but the opportunity to put that to bed.
Kendra's been waiting for you. You've got a question for Razor?
First of all, Razor, I'm disappointed you haven't taken Jane on the punt.
Not the romantic, am I? Yeah.
I guess, you know, you probably get asked this question a lot around the legacy of the Crusaders. What do you think defines the legacy of the Crusaders?
It's a good one from us. You'd probably tag it in as well, because we started together back in '96 as OGs, and we were last that year. And 2 years later, probably 70–80% of the group won it, and we won 3 in a row, and that just set the standard, and just good people after good people coming in and handing on stories and just keeping the collective culture that was built over that period of time. And you know, we get a lot of coaches and players that stay and are extremely loyal, and that just adds to the cohesion and the depth of tradition.
How do you keep it fresh, Razor? So Jurgen Klopp at the moment, Liverpool, winning everything for the last few years, and now they're like 8th. I mean, how do you keep it fresh? This is your 5th season, you're winning, you know, and people think, yeah, that's easy, but that's actually hard. People rest on their laurels. So what do you keep doing to keep changing it?
Well, the target gets bigger, doesn't it? So you've got to find a way to firstly motivate yourself so you can keep the energy up and motivate the group, and make it sort of bigger than yourself, bigger than the actual, just the competition, and then it's all around your families, your community and the wider good of it, and creating a connection point where you sort of dig deeper into yourself, because the desperation goes after a while if you're chasing, or you've got to make it for a different reason for that, like just love what you do.
I want to get deep as well, if you don't mind, Razor, and ask you about the harmony. How do you keep the harmony in the team? Like, he's a champion bloke, Luke Romano, so he won't mind me saying this. I saw him yesterday eating a burger, watching the game. You know, any franchise in this country would love to have him in their side, and he's not getting any game time. You've got plenty of players like that, and such depth. But this competition is, you know, you need to get your players out there each week and win games. You know, how do you keep them players that could be playing anywhere else here in Christchurch and happy?
Yeah, that's a good point. Obviously, ran out for the development, and he's a 150-odd game Crusader, and he's a Crusader for life, and he's come back at 36 years of age and sort of knows his role if he's required or come in and play, but he's a mentor for the young guys, like he was mentored. So he takes a lot of pride on how he's started and finished his career and what he can do and add to that group. So they're skillful conversations when you get guys come back like that, and you're picking other guys, but they know their teams first.
Razor, there's a randomness to tonight. We got Bernie out in the crowd looking for questions. So this is coming from Bern and some of the fans who are here. Bernie, who have you got for us?
Random. Talk about random. The legacy, the success of the team. Isn't it the 2 Bs, Razor? It's all a bit heavy. Doesn't it beer and brotherhood? Isn't that the key to the Crusaders, really? Yes. All right, we've got Rich and Carlin with a couple of questions. I have not met a Cantabrian yet who didn't go to the game on the weekend, truthfully. Rich, who's your question for?
My question's for Razor.
Yep.
The nature of the game is, Razor, you have to substitute people off at the 60-minute mark. How do you really trust that those younger guys are going to get the job done in that last 20?
Great question.
Yeah, it is strong. I think it's important you set them up during the week. Like Fletcher Newell's a prime example of it. Young guy, tight head, prop, extremely smart. Some of his scrummaging sessions against Joe Moody are going to be tough, or not tougher than the game. And then just put a lot of faith in them, off you go. It's you going to learn, you expect sometimes things might not go perfect for them, but you understand it's part of their growth, and give them another chance and get them some continuity and some belief in themselves.
And then revert back to the beer and the brotherhood. Carlin, what's your question?
Do you have a pre-game hype song?
Oh, because we know he likes his music, because you can bust some shapes.
Well, personally, yeah, I've got a few jams, especially with back the Chili Peppers back in the day. I'll try and draw those back. But there's definitely a team song before we run out. We've got a few actually over the years that have sort of compounded, and we've carried on. It's a bit of a medley. that can't be touched, can't be moved. The boys play that, so I'll get a bit of rocking going in before we go out. Gets me hyped up before we get into the crowd, you know.
Do you know where the
Sing and
karaoke...
dance.
Sing and dance. Do you know where the karaoke places are around here? I know Marshy does, but do you?
No.
Oh,
no,
come on.
There's a lot of tone deaf people out there. I've got the voice of an angel, obviously, but no. I'm not a karaoke person.
No, not anymore. Razor, let's talk about what it's going to take to win this competition, because you've had a strong start, but you know there's a lot of games to come in front of you. Everyone's going to get better. How much better do you think you guys can get?
Yeah, that's an exciting thing. You know, I think we can get a lot better in different areas. We've created lots of opportunities we didn't finish. Our discipline has got better in some areas, so if we can continue to grow that and trust our structures. And we've got a lot of players coming back, so you need a lot of energy, you need depth in your squad, you need to keep the momentum. And you know when things aren't quite going well, that you have a clear goal in mind at the end, and that's part of footy, but just keep getting excited. And the great thing this year, there's going to be a final, so it's going to come off to a one-off, but you've got to get yourself there first.
How do you get away from the game, Razor? I know you do a bit of sup paddling and stuff, but how do you clear your mind so you can actually be a bit creative around where the game should go?
Look, we do where the game should go, and so I'm personal. So two-side question. So firstly, I exercise every day, some capacity. Get up early before work to clear my head, something around water, swimming or surfing, or do a lot of yoga in that as well with the body. We still watch a lot of Northern Hemisphere footy too, just to make sure we know where that game's going. Keep in touch with Ronan O'Gara over in La Rochelle as much as we can. We've got a guy, John Gardner, who is our venal analyst. He came out of the Cardiff University. He did a degree in performance analyst work. So he's got a lot of contacts in the UK, so he keeps himself right on the pulse. So he's got a lot of information and trends and stats that come in behind. So
that's not getting away from the game. Is that just being a coach, right?
Yeah,
That's the hard thing, right?
does.
It's hard though, right?
Yeah, but I was just probably asking the end of the game that you can keep an eye on things from afar without watching Sky 24 hours a day. So, but you got to get the balance of it, because you know Super Rugby is a sprint or you know a bit of an endurance sprint these days, sort of 1,500 metres now, but. You've got to make sure you keep your head in the game while you're on, and then you just look at trends in the off-season.
Okay, let's talk about the game, the contest, the physical contest, and the fact that you may be forced into playing a third round. If we aren't able to get that Trans-Tasman bubble, does that maybe change, if you find out early enough, the way you approach some of the other games, knowing it's going to go deeper?
Yeah, potentially. It's a week to week though, because you've sort of been through the cycle of you playing the whole season and what it could look like, and then you come back and actually look at your performances, your form of your players, your injuries, where you sit on the log. So it sort of comes back to a week process as well. But we've got a 4-week block. You know, we're 4 in a bye, which suits us, gets our rhythm. So we'll get this 4 out of the way and reassess.
I'm going to ask you one last question. Sam Whitelock. Couple of back-to-back 80-minute games. Then I see him picking up the advertising hoardings afterwards, like the foam ones, not the big heavy one, but the foam ones, and taking those in. When I see a guy like that who's played as many games for the Crusaders, what does that suggest to you about the man?
Oh, he's a commander. He leads by example, and that's what commanders do. He's a commanding presence. He's got a commanding voice in our team. He's a winner, you know. Braden and Caroline are really proud of all the White Leg boys, but what Sam does is pretty special. Played 300 plus first-class games, and he's an incredible athlete, a man.
Razor, as always, fantastic. Great to have you with us on the show. Appreciate your time, and we'll see you. It's all on this Saturday, right? The Chiefs are coming to town, and they'll be looking to get some points on you.
Yeah, thanks for coming down to Riverside. Awesome. City's growing. It's great to be a part of it.
All right, thanks, mate. Let's go back to Bern. She's got a special gift.